Good morning. It's Harvey Jackson from Sea Grain Marketing. Just going to go through some drought indicators that I'm looking at and possible indications of NVDI and crop stage and what that might mean for the final yield as we are awaiting the Canadian yield estimates on August 28th. So that's coming. And we're starting to get some NVDI possible information out there as well. So as you can see on the total soil moisture map, just currently got updated, this building of less than 25% soil moisture is building, and even in 25 to 50 into Manitoba, even with that excess moisture that we've gotten over the whole growing season. Here's just your percent of soil moisture as well, and you can see almost all of Saskatchewan growing area is less than that 40%, and 40 to 85% of your normal soil moisture. Knowing that a lot of times the soil moisture does dry out as the summer progresses into August. Uh, so here I'm looking at evapotranspiration, and that's basically what the soil is actually going to evaporate as well. And so here's a 2 month standardized index, and you can see that the region over the 2 months in that southern part of Saskatchewan and Edmonton and north has had a lot of evaporation due to soil temperatures and just moisture or lack of moisture. And you can see here the 1 month standardized, it gets into numbers that I still haven't figured exactly out, but this one here is your evaporation and precipitation as well. So it's actually giving you a fairly in-depth read on the screen scenario. So with NVDI, I think I talked about this a while back, looking at the NASA's global agricultural monitoring system. And you can see the first week in July, we've got lots of green on the screen. And that's when you expect to have very green plants and not as much plants going into drying out or harvest. And you can see the third week in July, and it's an 8 week or 8 day running timeline. Here you are starting to dry out already. Fourth week, you're drying out already. And if you remember the maps from before, you've got drying out of soil and you've got drying out of plant potential here as well. Now, we've got to remember where we are in crop stage. So here we are, the last uh, aggregated data put together. You can see that there is a lot of drying that's happening, and knowing that the plants are getting closer to later parts of life cycle, less leaves on the plants, naturally drying down of plants as we get closer and closer to harvest. We sped up things with dry soil, higher temperatures. So NVDI images at this time of year don't really make a whole lot of sense. Here's the weather. Again, we've got a little breaks and showers that are going across Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and you can see that there was some moisture that was going across some of that uh, key growing areas in the U.S. as well. Temperature anomalies for the next 10 days. You can see that we're warming over in the prairie provinces, but you can also see that there's some cooling effects over into the major corn, soybean growing areas and wet and hot to the west of that. So you got all of the western U.S. and Canada warm, where the corn and soybean temperatures are actually a little bit below normal, but adequate moisture, as you can see with this next slide. You've got adequate moisture still hitting there. You're still growing the potential or holding on to that potential high yields of the corn and soybeans. That's why we're getting impacted there. And no moisture to the west. If I, yeah. So to add to that story, the 3 to 4 week outlook, you can see above normal way south in Texas area, and then as you move north, we're still above normal on the temperature side. But when you look at the moisture for Western Canada, if we can extrapolate this U.S. map into Canada or Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, it still looks like it's going to be below normal. So if we're going to be progressing with harvest, we might be able to get our harvest done in decent time, knowing that corn and soybeans in the Delta region and in the major area where corn and soybeans are grown, we've got some drying out as well. So there's still a potential for some weather stories yet to come. on the corn and soybeans, but it's getting less and less doubtful. So quickly, let's just go through the canola. We've actually got a green day here, which it's not gonna, it doesn't, as of right now, it's not taking out that full length that we had yesterday, but it's a positive sign of uh, hopefully we can continue this trend. Same thing actually happened in rapeseed. It did not get to the full value that it went down to, uh, where yesterday in canola we made new lows. And you can see that rapeseed and your canola actually created a bigger gap. So what this is actually showing you that European rapeseed priced in Canadian dollars is $115 uh, more expensive than Canadian canola. So we should be able to catch a bid for export markets, and you'll see in this next slide where how often have we been above that $100 mark, and it's not that often, and we don't stay up there very long. So it's just hey, uh, canola should be finding some interest in the international market because we are $100 cheaper than the European rapeseed. Soybean continue to make new lows here. I would say we got to be looking at this either the 10-day moving average or the 78.6, so above the $10 before you can actually be confident that this slide is going to get broken. Right now, even with a little bit of green on the screen, it's still pretty negative. And same with the soybean oil. It made new lows yesterday and still tracking downwards on the December. Palm oil is actually has a good day, but it's still, as far as I'm concerned, we have to get above this 37.70 kind of ringgit area of palm. Wheat still finding support, going sideways, but support at the bottom. So the longer this can continue, the better off we are for the temporary kind of timeline because buyers will uh, possibly get interested in buying wheat, but we have our whole story with the CPCN strike, and it might not do anything uh, to help this Minneapolis wheat market go up, as buyers might not be interested in additional demurrage charges trying to fill boats, and I think that's why the basis is not as strong as we would like it. Commitments are not really getting sought after in the fall months in any great way. We are seeing fusarium issues starting to pop up in our Manitoba, Eastern Saskatchewan is starting to show up on some of that early harvest and some lower test weights and stuff like that as well from drying out as well. Hard red winter uh, needed to get to that 10-day moving average, but again, here's the same story: the market going sideways could could potentially not thinking that the buyer of wheat is going to find a cheaper price than where it is, because if they made a commitment a month ago, they didn't have to pay a whole lot more than they do today. So, and the same thing with Chicago wheat and corn. Well, it made its low a few days ago and still supportive at those values. Again, August 28th, your model-based estimates are going to come out, and that's going to be for July, which is exactly the timeline that it's important to pay attention to. And we'll chat tomorrow.